So we're going to make choux pastry today. So we need butter, water, eggs, strong flour, sugar and salt. So I have 60 grams of butter, which I've cut up into cubes. It's important that you do that, it's not in one lump. And I'm going to put some seasoning in, so I'm going to put a little bit of sugar in, maybe a good pinch. I'm just going to put about half a teaspoon, it's a nice big pinch of sugar, and a little bit of salt. Just a little bit, because these are sweet, so just a little bit of salt. And I'm going to weigh my water. Okay, it's cold water and it's going into the pan. It's 150 milliliters, 156, that's okay. So we're going to take it straight over to the stove and we're going to melt the butter and boil the water, which won't take very long at all, but we do need a rolling boil. Okay, you can stop. So it's really important that this water comes to a rolling boil and that all your butter melts. But we don't want to boil it too long or you're going to evaporate the water. Okay? So it's all boiling now. And you don't need to mix it. There's no reason to stir it. And in goes all your flour and you need to stir. Keep stirring and stir it quite viciously. Just for a minute or two until it all comes together. And the heat is quite high, medium to high, otherwise it won't work. And then we're going to put this into a bowl to cool, because we can't add the eggs until that's cool. So we have got to wait for the steam to stop. So we're just cooling the mixture a little, just so that the steam escapes, because you don't want to put eggs into a hot mixture, otherwise it's just going to scramble. So can you see the steam rising? So you can touch it and you can feel if it's too hot. So we're just going to mix our eggs up just with a fork. We just want to break them up a bit. And the important part of making choux pastry is adding a little bit of egg at a time, and after each addition, mix and beat it in. It does not work if you add it too quickly or if you don't beat it in long enough. So a little bit of egg and mix. And a little bit more egg. And mix. And you'll see it split and then come back together again. What you need to do is make sure that you get all the sides mixed in. So scrape the sides in so that everything gets mixed in together. And a little bit more egg. You may not need all the egg, and of course some eggs are bigger than other eggs. So we just have to have a look at the mixture. You see how it splits itself when you add egg? It's quite normal, okay? Just have to keep mixing. And it comes back together again. You can do it with a wooden spoon. You need a lot of mixing though. Okay, and add another little bit of egg. Look, it split itself again. Okay, that's absolutely normal. Now we want to bring it back together again. We want it nice and glossy. Okay, I'll be able to add the rest of the egg in. One more time around the edges. Okay, so now we have our mixture. You can see it falling. It's a nice fee coming off the spatula. Okay, and that is going to be put into a piping bag. So hold the piping bag a third down and put it over your hand. And put the mixture in. And use your thumb to scoop the mixture onto. Okay, you can stop. We filled our piping bag. Find the seam and lay it flat on the table. So what we want to do is get the air bubbles out of this. So I haven't cut this. I'm just going to squash it down a little bit and use the back of your hand to push the mixture down. And then scoop it up and twist. So it's really nice and plump, okay? And hold it between your fingers so you can twist it, okay? Then we're going to cut maybe a centimetre or two off the top, depending on what you want to make and what size you want to make. So if you're holding it up, it's not going to fall out. So we could do profiteroles. Stop pressing and it just stops coming out, and just lift it up. Don't put them too close together because they will spread, probably about triple in size. There we go. Just twist this. If you want to do an eclair, you just pipe, stop piping and lift. Okay, let's finish this mixture. Okay. You don't want these little tips because they could burn in the oven, so get some cold water, not hot. Pop your finger in and just press it down. So we've set the oven at 220 degrees centigrade. You need heat for the steam to puff these little choux up and for the strong flour to hold the puff up. So we're going to just dip our hand in the water and just put a good sprinkle of water on top just to create the initial steam. Just going to pop into the oven. I'm going to set it for, we'll do 15 minutes and then we might turn the temperature down. So we've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and the time is up, so I'm actually going to turn the temperature down because the profiteroles are cooked. I just want to let them dry out now, and I'm going to just put it on for maybe 5 minutes. Okay, so I'm just going to let some of the steam out. And then what we want to do is let them dry out. Because if you take them out too soon, the insides haven't dried out and they can deflate. We want them to stay fully risen. Okay? So, lovely little choux, all done. So they're all dried out. If they weren't, they would start to collapse, okay? So we've got a very light choux pastry. So we want to make a hole in the bottom. That's where we're going to fill. Just to let any steam come out. Can you see the steam coming out of it? You can see it from this side. So that's all I'm going to do, and that's where we can use the hole to fill. That's it, Ellie.